11:59 at Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I've got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every day at noon Eastern. That's 9 a.m. Pacific for about an hour each day. We do 3 gun-related topics, different topics throughout the week. We pick those topics on Mondays, so you're here on a good day. You can help us create the show for the week. We run it live on YouTube. We simulcast it over at gunchannels.com. We're watching the live comments that come in from people over on Gun Channels and on YouTube. We take the best audio of the show and post it as a podcast over on iTunes. So we appreciate everybody that listens to the show now or in the future on whatever platform it might be, especially those that take the time to leave us some feedback, interact with the platforms, subscribe to the channel, give us a comment on the videos, give us a thumbs up. All those interactions let us know you're out there. It makes it more fun for us because we have some interaction. Plus, it also helps the show get recommended to more listeners, and that's one of our goals. So we do appreciate that. We've got a bunch of hosts. 3 of us are here today. We got Bob jumping in from Canada. Thanks for joining. Plus it also,
hey, glad to be here.
We got Jimmy running the show out of Phoenix.
Hey, morning. Good to be here.
And then I'm down here in Tucson right now. So let's see. It's Monday. It is episode number 436. So we'll be planning out the show. Then we'll be talking about behind the scenes stuff. And then we'll be talking about what's coming up on the calendar. But before we dig into our daily stuff, we usually take a break at the beginning of the show to talk about what happened overnight, or in a case like this, over the weekend. Nothing much, really, right?
Yeah, not really. Really a quiet weekend today. This weekend, but no, we had that little rally, the Phoenix rally. I would say it was a success. We had a decent turnout. It was a pretty good turnout. I would say at one point we had about 20 people there. Everybody was pretty much fresh faces. A couple of us from Gun Channels. It was me, G-Webs, Angry Heavy, and Carlos. Everybody else was from different platforms and
Enrique
heard about it in different ways. It was real. What? But yeah, but it was real. It was real interesting though.
Enrique Sonora from Tucson.
Oh yeah, Enrique. Yeah, duh. He was like one of the first guys that showed up too. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, but it was cool though. And the thing I thought was pretty cool was that, like I was saying, people heard about it from different places. Some people heard about it from the Facebook. Some people heard about it from YouTube. Some people, heard about it through the hashtag. So I thought it was a really cool, like, that everybody got together and got to meet.
Yeah, big success. Plus, we'll be able, hopefully, to talk about the successes and failures with other states and be able to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And get next time down pat.
I didn't think about the people that would just be walking up, pedestrians and people biking, even a couple of cars that stopped. It's a Sunday and slow day in the middle of downtown like that, so cars could just stop and nobody really cared. So a couple of times people would stop, roll down their windows and ask what it was all about. And that was an opportunity I never even thought about, but we all had a chance to explain what we were there for and respond to any questions or whatever they had. And yeah, pretty cool. I'd say at least 60% or more of the people gave us a thumbs up or a honk or some kind of a yell or acknowledgement.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then the people, like you were saying, the ones that were just randomly walking up. I mean, we've talked about it earlier. I'm not going to go into super detail, but I mean, some people were curious about the Second Amendment and what it was. Some people were curious as to why we were out there and, what was going on to prompt us to be out there and stuff. And it was just really good to get that. I thought it was awesome to get that information out there.
Yeah, I kind of was sitting on Gun Channels watching what was going on. Not too many people did live streams that we could share, but we were there to do it. If it was anybody who did share, we were sharing. So, yeah, it was fun.
All right. Well, in addition to that, I think a bunch of people had chats and stuff. So I guess we'll keep going. So this is where we plan out the schedule out the week. So we have some topics that still have holes in them. We need an entertainment topic. Looks like we need a gun stuff topic, or a training topic, or an alternative gun topic. And I guess we can keep going with the show while we wait for people to chime in on the live chat. The people that are watching live, give us some ideas for entertainment, for training, for gun stuff, or an alternative gun topic. And if you have ideas for the other topics, feel free to throw them out there. We can throw them into the schedule for future weeks. And if anybody's listening to this and in the future, or if you're listening now and you think of something later, you can always email us, dailygunshow@gmail.com. So I guess let's dig into the next segment of the show. We're going to dig into like the how to use social media, the behind the scenes segment of the show each week. But before we do, we usually take a break to feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. And today we're going to feature Ellis, the Outlaw Hatfield, kind of a recent member, a new member to Gun Channels, but jumping in with both feet. And now he's up to 2, or is it 3 shows a week?
I think it's 3.
So doing live shows, been participating in other people's live events and jumping in and participating live in the text chat quite a bit, and bringing a lot of insight and perspective to it. Has traveled around a bit, and definitely what we built Gun Channels for. Have people to be part of these conversations.
Hey, and speaking of Ellis, you might notice, even though they've been screwing around with the time of the show and the whole time change, you'll notice I was here on time.
Not even Bob was here an hour early because he's that.
That's right. Had nothing to do with getting confused about whether the time was going forward or backward.
And are we getting any ideas out there?
Yeah, we are getting a few. We got on the Gun Channel side, Angry's training at home drills. And on the YouTube side, we've got Nightwolf says movie and TV show guns, and Cycle Camp says entertainment guns used in arcade games and how they've changed. I actually kind of like that one. That's an interesting concept.
That was on the YouTube side?
Yeah. That was Cycle Camp's one was about the arcade games. I think we've done quite a bit about movie and TV show guns. Haven't we? Or maybe
we'll throw it in there. We'll throw it in there, though.
Yeah. Well, I think we haven't really dug into, like the kind of different prop guns they use, because they got like soft rubber guns. So when the guy falls down, he doesn't hurt himself.
Oh, okay. I'll throw types in front of there then.
Yeah, because everybody knows Hollywood people are all a bunch of snowflakes.
Well, sometimes they're criminals and they're like federally prohibited from possessing a firearm or taking possession of one. So they have to give them a fake gun because they're criminals.
Yes.
Pedophiles or rapists or embezzlers or whatever they are.
Yeah. Molesters.
Rapists.
Yeah. Child molesters. Evil devil worshipping types. But that's a whole nother rabbit hole.
So Ponry's gave us a paragraph there. In regards to the 2 men who chased down and stopped the guy in Texas, do you not give chase and discharge? Is it situation? So I'm guessing we talk about that position, or I'll just take this whole paragraph. And what is this for? This would be for an alt gun topic.
Well, or actually maybe on a I don't know, concealed carry thing.
Yeah, I was going to say CCW also, so I'm going to throw it into next week's CCW. So thanks for the topic, but it's at our discretion where we're sticking it. So we're sticking it someplace else.
Yeah, it's up to us where we stick things.
You don't choose where we stick our things. All right, so that's some of them, but we still need some more. So we'll keep digging into the show here. Again, we're looking for now some gun stuff and some alts and some gun stuffs. So what do we want to do for how to use social media today? I would say anything we can learn, any lessons we can learn from the rallies, and maybe talk about one of those points.
I don't know. Like, what else could we have done? Like, we had what, 2 weeks? And I mean, I guess we didn't completely flood social media, but we did utilize it pretty heavily.
I wouldn't say so. We used some of it, the stuff that we're familiar with. I don't think very many people got outside their boxes. Matt certainly did. He went out to syndicated national radio and went so far as to go to be on a radio show at their station.
Yeah,
So
but that's mainstream media. That's not alternative media, right?
correct. You're right. But at least he was doing something that's considerably different than YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, which is our old standbys. Of course, they're the largest, so I'm not dismissing them. But we didn't talk.
I mean, yeah, like let's like at this point, let's give Matt kudos for what he did. I mean, it was pretty amazing, and that was a hell of an effort on his part. And I think he was pretty damn successful.
I don't think he did much. All he did is rally the troops, and everybody else put in the individual effort to make it happen. So I'll give Matt credit for starting it, but I still want to give credit to the people that got up off their ass and drove 2-3 hours to get to a place and then drove 2 or 3 hours home.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, Matt's the only one who gets effort. I'm just saying.
I just wanted to disregard the boots on the ground. I understand, Bob. You only want to give credit to the elites.
What? Good God, you'll argue with anybody.
No, I just want to make it clear. Matt didn't sit down and have this all figured out. So it was definitely Matt. I think it's an instance where Matt threw the match down, but there was a lot of kindling down there. So it was good that he did that. But I don't think Matt had to do it. I don't think it was done, in homage to Matt is what I guess I'm saying.
Whatever.
Well, it wasn't a never enough ammo like rally. It was a Second Amendment rally. People were waiting for something like that.
Yeah, but somebody had to step up and start it.
Yeah, definitely. And he was in the right place at the right time, and he did it. So many other people are in a better place at the same time and didn't do shit. So yeah, he definitely did a lot. Anyway, I'm just saying that next time around, I don't know. What do you think about the whole time frame? I don't think it's a bad thing at all to do it in a short and sweet time frame. I think it gets people to actually move. If you set it for months in advance, then people just start getting what's that word? Where they just let things go and let things go. Everybody does.
Complacent.
Procrastination. No, they procrastinate on it, and you end up doing it in the last 2 weeks anyway. So I say let's just do it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but there's some people I think it should have been a month, and I'm just throwing that up because I think there were some people going.
Well, okay, I could give you a month, but I don't mean like 3 months. I've heard 3 months.
Well, or like some people are already talking. Oh, we should plan this for next year, and it's like, no, I don't think so. I don't agree with that. I mean, it should be something that should be thrown up every couple of months. I think that somebody should say, you know what, let's just out of the blue, let's get together on this weekend or on this, and
so that's something that can come out of it as a schedule for future events. And I definitely agree with you. Once a year is not enough.
No, because that we're out of their eye. Like the news cycles so fast now, right? That if you're not putting it out there consistently, it just gets covered. It gets swept under the rug,
Maybe like Smeggy's saying, they write bad laws on a whim and get support. We need to fight back just as fast. So maybe we start to get into the habit of being there each weekend unless there's not a bad law, so that they just know we're there, and maybe make it into a regular thing. Every time they bring up a bad law, we're there for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I like this one book that I listened to. It's a business book, a motivational type of book, to get your stuff organized. And he talks about how he, when he would go to class, if an instructor ever gave him anything less than an A, he would request office time with the instructor, and he'd bring just as many possible notes and books and things that he could, and he would go through every single missed question for hours, as much time as the instructor would possibly give him. And he says you do that once or twice and you start getting A's all the time, because it's not worth their trouble, right? So same thing with these law people. If we're going to bug them every single time, if there's consequences to every time they do this stuff, guess what they'll quit doing?
Well, good point. All right. So we're getting anything.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. I was just going to say, we getting anything else on the for the show notes or for the show
scheduling? Not really any more suggestions. No. We got Cycle Camp asking about the new live YouTube live. I don't know if he's kidding or not, so I stuck it to next week.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody wants to deal with the squeaky wheel. Exactly. And I think it's just a persistent resistance would be a different outcome than they typically get. And that might be enough to just get them annoyed and go on to the next thing. After all, there's so many other things they could go after. They could go after just any aspect of cars, like convertibles. Think how many kids fall out of convertibles goofing around. You don't need a convertible. It's bad for the environment. People open a convertible and then put the air conditioner on. Horrible for the environment. Only the elitists can afford them, so go after convertibles.
Well, you know, what about all the kids that try surf on the roof of their car and fall off and hit their heads? Maybe we should make it the other way around and just say cars should have roofs. Right?
So, Cycle's asking what's left to fill, what topics are left to fill. We've got gun stuff. We still need an idea there, and alt. So we need a gun stuff and a gun alt. Thanks. So that was a bit about the rallies. I think there's a lot more lessons to be learned, and hopefully, if Matt is going to take take the lead on this, then hopefully you'll have some after actions, ways for people to recap. I would know. Would you have each city do their own recap, and then each of those people come together into a big round table, so that they can come up with their own conclusions, and then once they've figured out what worked for them and what didn't, then come together with the bigger picture, or just go straight into the bigger picture?
Well, see, I was thinking about something, and I was thinking about that afterwards, and how he has like a Facebook page kind of set up for everything. Maybe there could be somewhere on a different platform or somewhere else. I don't know, maybe to archive it better. We should have something like you guys were just talking about earlier.
Picked Facebook to organize this whole thing, and shitty Facebook did it under events. So once the date of the event happened, it's no longer organized by state because of the shitty way that Facebook archives things. You're saying that he should have done it somewhere else in the first place, but now that he chose to do it on Facebook, he should continue on a more stable platform that allows for archiving of information?
Well, yeah, not only that, but
is there even such a platform?
I don't know. I know there's one place. But yeah, but that's what I'm saying though, is that maybe have like alternate pages for the different states, kind of like how you got for Every Second Matters kind of type of thing, but have it on gun channels or have it somewhere else where it could actually be archived and, you know, go over it. So when some crazy laws go through, like we were just talking about, we could all get together right on there, and you can go to your own separate state, or we could all get together or whatever and coordinate. I mean, it wasn't too bad, our rally anyway, but I mean, the whole parking and trying to find everybody, there was a few people that got lost, and I don't know, we probably could have coordinated it a little bit better than we did. So I don't know. I agree with the whole, I think there were successes in the fact that we could learn from them all.
I think, you know, the biggest thing to look at this first one is this is a learning experience that, you know, like maybe there should have been on Instagram or on Facebook, and well, maybe on all of them there should have been, okay, this is the street corner we're meeting up on, you know, right. Just so that, you know, people weren't on different sides of the building and stuff going, hey, there's nobody here, because that could have happened. People could have showed up on the wrong side of the building.
That's what happened to Dano and Tony. Turns out they were on the other side of the building from the protesters the whole time, and then they're like, let's walk around the building. At the same time, the protesters were like, let's walk around the building.
Could have been. You never know.
But that's the thing, nobody knew. I certainly didn't know where to meet. Now that I've been there, I could tell people with authority where exactly to meet, where there's parking, where the buses go.
So that might be the thing. Whoever's doing the coordinating has to give an address. This is where we're meeting up. This is where we're hooking up.
And are you saying that the failure of Matt could not have planned all this?
Well, it's partially that, yes. But I mean, it's also like, you know, there were state coordinators, basically. People saying, oh, I'll pick up the banner from my state.
So he's willing to give Matt all the credit, but then he's also going to give Matt all the blame.
Yeah, basically. Well, I mean, I'm just saying these are things Matt should have thought of. I mean, you know, it was his idea after all.
How the tables have turned.
Hey, if you're willing to take the credit, you better be willing to take the heat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think we have a new patch in the works over here. I'll leave it at that. But we're getting lots of suggestions, mostly from Cycle Camp, who's doing all the work over there. But thanks for the suggestions there. What are we doing next?
I don't know. We get any more suggestions? I think we did, didn't we?
Here, I got a suggestion.
What the hell? Oh, breeze blowing.
Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. You guys,
A hint of a breeze.
you guys know what that sound means. Time to crack your knuckles, whip out them keyboards, and it's time for the Daily Tactical Pop Quiz. Let's see here. So today we have a question brought to you by Angry American 570. He was kind enough to send us in a question on the email, dailygunshow@gmail.com. So today, in the XM29 OICW, what does the OICW stand for? In the XM29, what does the OICW stand for? It's not 42. You have an answer.
Michigander got it. Michigander got it on the gun channel side.
Very good. Yes, it is objective individual combat weapon. Good job, Michigander. Cycle Camp was nipping at your heels right behind you.
Indeed, indeed. Actually, excellent, Michigander. That was quick. I had to look up the answer, so yeah, I didn't have a clue. So excellent job, Michigander. That makes you the Daily Pop Quiz hot shot of the day. Oh, that one didn't hurt so bad.
Very good.
And it wasn't good.
What? It only counts if it hurts?
It means you tried.
All right, so
Oh, should we not tell them what to do?
No.
I already did. I threw the link out there. At least head over to the website, dailygunshow.com. We got a place you can leave us some info, and hopefully before I leave to Tulsa, I'll get a bunch of stuff in the mail.
There you go, man. Excellent.
All right, so trying to do too many things one time here. What should we do next? The gun shop of the day? So every day we try to feature a gun shop. That's one of the reasons we started the show. And recently was out on the Gun Show Loophole Tour. So just posted this video earlier today. We're going to take a look at a gun show in Missouri.
On the Gun Show Loophole Tour is a Missouri gun and knife show. And I don't know how to say the name of that town, so we'll just say southeast of St. Louis. That puts it in proximity of Illinois, Kentucky, and Tennessee. Makes it a multi-state gun show. Large facility is called the Show Me Center. Big place, lots of free parking. The promoter was very cool. Let us go upstairs and get a picture of the show to give you an idea of both the size and the flavor. Lots of vendors there, lots of interesting stuff for sale. I'm always curious to see the different ways they present stuff, the various ways they display, and any gimmicks they have to get people over to a table. It's just one of the things I find interesting about gun shows after going to a lot of them. The differences are what stand out. I thought there was some interesting things about this, some unique things about this show, and some of the products as well, like these rocking targets. I don't think I've ever seen those before. I thought they were clever. So the whole point of this project is to remind people and encourage people to get out there and share some of your experiences at your gun shows, your gun shops. So let us know in the comments what you think. And if you've been to this show, let us know what you think of it. Looks like they do a couple of them each year. And as always, thanks for watching.
Oh, that's really cool. Now, is that kind of like the whole Crossroads things where they go to different or whatever?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. That's one of the questions I should probably ask the promoters. Sometimes it's obvious if they've got like a sheet that has multiple locations on it. This one, that little yellow card was the sheet, and it just had the multiple dates of this location. But that don't mean nothing, because some promoters will only put out the stuff for that location because their other location might be really far away. And if they don't get people going to both shows, they don't bother wasting the paper, I guess. But I don't know. Maybe it is his first show. I don't know. There's definitely already had a comment on the YouTube video. Somebody who lives in that area. So somebody who lives around there, they might know, you know, the sequence of these shows, or the if this promoter goes over to other places. But
Really cool.
no, this is my favorite show, I think, of all the shows I went to on the tour. Went to Illinois, Indiana, this one, and then New Mexico, and then Prescott. I'm counting all of those. And and then Fort Worth. And Fort Worth was bigger. This was the second biggest, but this one was just, there was an energy in this room. The aisles were nice. This picture makes it look like there's nobody there, but it was definitely the opposite of that. I don't know if I just got there early with this picture or what, but the aisles weren't crowded to where you were hitting, you know, crowding past people. But there was pretty much, you know, more than one person per table, you know, more than one visitor per table for sure. So, you know, you had to go around a couple of times just to get to see everything. But the vendors, well, they were making money. People were buying and they were selling. So there was like that energy to it that you don't, you know, you get, it lacks sometimes if a gun show is just all mopey. So I don't know, I thought it was a good variety of stuff too. Not just your brand new stuff, lots of knife makers, lots of people doing leather and other kind of, you know, stuff that they create, but then lots of stuff from people's, I guess, out there garages and basements and gun rooms, which I always like a lot. The one thing I guess that was lacking was a real surplus place. There was a couple of tables with surplus stuff, but I always like to see, like on a show this size, I'd like to see like a whole island of just, you know, some surplus store bring in a bunch of stuff. But otherwise, I thought this was one of the coolest shows, and good setting. I guess it's in the university, so free parking. That's always good. And oh man, I was talking to the guys earlier the other day, I guess yesterday, about the horrible parking at the show here in Tucson yesterday, or on Saturday. But this was the opposite. Plenty of free parking right up front. All right, well, we didn't do a gun shop today. We did a gun show, but each day we try to feature a shop. The idea there is to remind people that you got a camera in your pocket. Most every shop I've been to will allow you to take pictures if you want, if you ask them. And if you do, post them on Instagram, post them on gun channels, wherever it is, send us a link, dailygunshow@gmail.com, and we're happy to promote those shops. That's one of the reasons we're doing what we're doing. Question, AMD or PSA? That's just a bunch of letters, so. PSA is some made gun by PSA. I've never even picked one up, so I have no idea. An AMD can be a kit gun. It could be a gun that's from the olden days, from the 90s. It could be a brand new one. You didn't say anything about the manufacturer, and even if you did, I wouldn't know. So that's too vague a question. If you're just looking for aesthetics, then you need to know, because a PSA needs 12 models of guns, right? That's an impossible question. I'm asking an impossible question.
Yeah, and if it's the newer ones, that I wouldn't even touch it. I like the hand guard on them. I don't like anything about them.
I thought a PSA was a public service announcement.
Palmetto.
Just saying.
All right, so Giardo, Giardo. Giardo. So you're supposed to say that town, I think. Giardo. I didn't hear anybody say it. It's sort of like a phone number. Nobody says it.
Yeah, it's on.
All right. So that was gun shop of the day. What else we got? Why don't we want to go into events right away?
Do events.
We got quite a few things coming up. The next big thing is the Tulsa Gun Show coming up next weekend. Largest gun show in they say the world. I don't know. I've never seen the gun shows in the world. They're definitely the biggest in the United States. It's 4,200 tables. So that's the next thing that'll be coming up. But we're going to go down to the front page of Gun Channels here and scroll down about halfway. Then I'm going to go over and mute Bob. That's a weird echo. And then go back over here, and that's the Wanamaker show we're talking about. It looks like there's something called the 11th month, 11th day, 11th hour. What was this? I forget.
That's Remembrance Day.
Oh, okay. Thanks. So this is World War I, the poppies, right? Armistice, the end of World War I?
Yep. Yes. That's when the last shots were fired, I guess.
So
fell silent.
And that would be November 11th, 11/11.
Yep.
Right on. And on the 15th, we got Gun Channels' anniversary. It'll be 4 years old, 2013. Bob, what's going on? All of a sudden, you're got a wicked echo over there. So then the next thing on our calendar will be the SAR show, which is a small arms review show coming up in December in Phoenix. If you haven't been to that, it's the largest gun show next to Tulsa. So it's huge gun show. And then the small arms review building. Jimmy's never been there, but Bob's been to that one. The next thing on our calendar is the SHOT Show coming up in January, and we'll probably add the antique and knife show to the end of that, because the weekend after SHOT Show, there's a really big gun show in Vegas. So anybody who might be traveling for SHOT Show or happen to be in Vegas then, check out that giant gun show. Then we've got the Great American Outdoor Show. That's that one in Pennsylvania that I don't know if the NRA took it over or they endorsed it or something. So that's coming up, and that's like a week-long sort of a shooting and hunting trade show, outdoor trade show. Not really a trade show. It's more like a festival or a, what do you call that? An exposition. So I'd like to check that out. Sounds like I think Marco will be going for his 3rd year now. I think Pink goes to that one as well. Next in the calendar, we got the Connecticut Citizens Defense League dinner in February. Anybody is welcome to post their events like this one, local events. Again, the posting things here on a channel like Gun Channels with lots and lots of daily traffic, and it's a massive website. It's been around. You know, we're about to be on our 4th year. This has credibility on the internet. Posting links are going to help out those sites. So it's letting the human beings who might actually read the calendar know about something interesting. Who knows, you know, somebody has family out there and they see this and they tell their brother-in-law about it, and now their brother-in-law joins. So he didn't know about it before. So there's always the human being aspect, but really on the underside, you know, on Mondays we talk about behind the scenes, and the underside of all this is that you're helping these websites out. So you're helping these organizations out. You're making those websites stronger, and then the places that those websites are associated with are therefore stronger. So you're helping the whole everything. And keep that in mind with everything you do on the internet. If you're running around clicking on the Young Turks, every time you click on them, you're making them stronger. Every time you link to them on Facebook, making them stronger. So your actions are the consequences of all of our collective actions are what the internet is. All right, so beyond that, we got the Cartridge Show coming up in St. Louis. I would really like to attend that one this year. So hopefully the Patreon support will allow us to stay on the road, and we'll take the show to a whole new level, going to an entire gun show that's nothing but cartridges. Now, I don't know if Bob will still be in country for that, but would you be down for going to a whole gun show that's nothing but cartridge collectors?
Oh, hell yeah.
And there's some Oregon. All right. Then we got the another, oh no, this is something else. The USCCA Concealed Carry Expo. That's that USCCA does something up in Minnesota, I think. And that's in April, I guess. And then we got the NRA annual meeting, which will be in December. It'll be in Dallas in May. So that's the stuff that's coming up on the calendar, but you can always participate in this element of the show as well by going over to Gun Channels. Up at the top of every page, there's a quick menu, and under the resources, you'll find firearms calendar. Every member of Gun Channels can leave a, post something over there. So that's those events. I guess we can also, since I'm screen sharing, go over to guncalendars.com. It's one of our websites where, if you notice, I do a lot of the posts for things on Instagram. I think keeping history alive is important, and there's definitely enough of it. And it's often a good pause to hear, it's the anniversary of an invention or someone's birth date or day they died or something, or like this one, the anniversary of an awesome movie coming out. So we have guncalendars.com if you ever want to check those out. See if there's something that happened on an anniversary. There's all different kinds of ways to search through here. And we keep it as an element of this show as well. But looks like we don't have anything gun related happening today. I'll look and see. One of the weaknesses over there is I can't see what's coming. So I'll go to this calendar. Doesn't look like we have much coming up this week. So I guess that'll wrap up events.
I think that's pretty much got it. So we want to talk about the movie of the day now or the gun of the day?
I don't even know the movie, so I'll go either way.
Well, let's see here. So I guess I'll do the tiebreaker since I got them both queued up. So we'll do the movie for right now.
Which one then, Joe?
Today's movie is 6 Days. Never seen it.
I've seen it. It is about the SAS rescue in the Iranian embassy. Terrorists took over the Iranian embassy and were shooting embassy staff. So it got down to the point where the British had a choice, was, let these embassy staff, and this was when the Iranians were actually the good guys, when the Shah was running things, and these were terrorists who took it over. So they basically locked up the embassy, the terrorists did, and they had all the embassy staff, and there were some, other people. I think there was a party going on at the time, so they had a lot of other innocents in there. So the SAS just went in and kicked some ass, right? The Iranians started shooting hostages, and it was like, nope, that ain't going to happen on our watch. And they blew in windows and everything. It was pretty famous. I remember watching this on the news, They blew in windows and blew in doors, and they just went in there and just basically wiped the floor with these terrorists. I think they lost a couple of hostages, but the terrorists all got put down pretty much. So yeah, a heck of a good movie. Shows got some great weapons in it. Not just what the SAS uses, but also what the terrorists had. Some stuff that, some ComBlock stuff that was kind of unique. So very cool.
So it sounds like, is this a documentary?
No, it's a movie, but it's a movie based on the true story.
But that sounds like the exact thing that Final Option is. That's the same plot line. So I wonder if this is if the Final Option was a dramatization of that event.
I think it kind of was, whereas the 6 Days was more. It was a more fact-based movie, but it wasn't a documentary as such. But they had everything pretty much right on as far as the way the SAS operated, exactly what happened, the timeline it happened in. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. It was that just the shock and awe as they went in, because they're going in against guys who are ready for them, the guys are armed with automatic weapons, and yet they still managed to just basically wipe them out.
So you're saying that they took in the Springfield Armory Saints? Is that what that page is saying? No. So when was this movie made? Because Final Option was made in the 80s.
This was not an 80s movie. This was...
this was in the 90s, I think.
2017.
Really? Oh, I definitely got to watch this one then. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do they have as good of a soundtrack?
Well, no, because it's a modern soundtrack. But yeah, they got high powers in it, so what could be better than that? And HKs and
Yeah, it looks interesting. Definitely gonna check it out. Thanks for that, Bob.
That's our new segue.
That'll take us into the gun of the day then? Got it right here.
Yeah, why not? Let's go to the gun of the day. So it is the Finnish Sumi M31 submachine gun. This thing's really cool. It's one of the ones that I can actually get as a surplus. Well, it's surplus, but they changed the barrel. They put a 16-inch barrel on it and made it semi-auto closed bolt. But it excellent little submachine gun. Downside, it weighed more than an M1 Grand. But as you can see with the, here's a really unique thing. It actually had a quad stacked magazine.
Really?
Yeah. They weren't that common. They changed them after the war. I think in the 50s they changed to a double stack. But the original ones had a quad stack. I think it was 40 some round magazine.
When the
And
Finnish,
they had that, and a 71 round drum.
when the Finnish do it, quad stacks are awesome. When Surefire does it, oh, they can't work.
Well, yeah, and it did work. It worked quite well. It was a very unique design. This whole gun was quite unique. The Finns loved them, right? Like in World War, well, no, I guess pre-World War II when the Russians were attacking them, and I guess when the Germans did too. I don't know. Finns were fighting everybody, but yeah, the Finns would ski up through the bush, you know, and they'd be hiding in the bush, and the Russians would be coming down the trail, and they would just literally open fire with these things and cut the column to pieces, and then, you know, wipe out the column section by section, because they were able to move so fast through the snow and the woods. But yeah, very, very cool gun. Got all kinds of nifty options on it, but I really like the idea. You know, a lot of people will look at that and go, "Oh, that looks like that Russian Papasha." Well, maybe that's where
This is a fake Papasha.
No, it's not. It was actually built before the Papasha. So
Yeah.
Copy.
yeah, you mean
Like
the
most of the,
Papasha is a copy. Yeah, that's right.
like most of the guns the Finnish have, they just waited for Russians to come up near them. They killed them and then took their guns and then copied them.
Is this
Made
the
it back.
thing? Is that how people used to like hold their drum?
Well, yeah, that's kind of the way you had to.
Oh, to keep your
Yeah,
They
you
didn't
didn't,
make it. They
you didn't
just
want to
did.
hold it out in the barrel. It'd get a little warm.
little toe, little bit.
Because they didn't have gloves on. They live in Finland, but they didn't have gloves.
Well, they're tough, right? Finns were tough, man. They were, and actually, that's no bull. The Finns, they were pretty badass. They beat the Russians to a stop, basically. I mean, eventually the Russians just overwhelmed them with troops, but you know, the Russians thought it was going to be a walkover. It turned out not to be. So yeah, very cool guns. Really fast rate of fire too.
Oh, is it that the Finnish were good or the Russians were just that bad? Because
Russians were that bad. Now you see this one on the bottom of the picture. It's on screen now with that really long.
Yeah, that's the quad
magazine.
stack, right?
No, that's actually the 32 ACP version of it. The first version was 32 ACP because, you know, that was a very common caliber for pistols and stuff in the early, you know, 1920s and 30s, like coming from First World War type thing. And because it's a semi-rimmed cartridge, it had to be curved like that. Well, you know, they obviously decided that was not enough. It was just not enough punch, so they did switch to a 9mm. And the quad stack is quite a unique looking magazine. They actually called it the coffin because it was like as wide as it was, you know, thick kind of thing. But yeah, really cool idea that they actually were coming up with a quad stack in the 30s, which they pretty much needed to. And that's why they had the big drum. The 71 round drum was because of the rate of fire on this thing. So it was like 900 to 1,000 rounds per minute. Yeah, there's a quad stack.
Oh, okay. This.
Yeah. And I don't think they're actual copies of the MP-18. They were quite different internally. Yeah, it was quite a unique design. Like, look at where the bolt handle is on it. The whole bolt and everything was enclosed. The bolt handle actually worked a lot like an AR-15. So yeah, they were quite different than the MP-18, other than the fact that they're a submachine gun. And yeah, the chat's going stupid.
I like the part where Bob said it wasn't powerful enough, so they went to 9mm.
Well, that's right. Yeah, it was a 32. Everybody knows that's a wimpy cartridge.
I spit coffee out of my head.
Yeah. Hardly any better than a 25 ACP, although much better than a 22 short rimfire. You know.
All right, so that'll take us into another segment of the show, and I think we'll take a break here to see how many people are actually watching. How am I going to find that out? By clicking over here. We got 25 people watching, and I'm assuming I'm talking to the choir, to the people watching live, but just in case we're not, and to all the people that are listening in the future, feel free to give us a thumbs up. We only have 10 right now. So to people in the future, though, Gun Channels is a place we talk about occasionally. It's a community. It's focused on firearms. We called it gunchannels.com because I like to get names that are kind of broad, right? That kind of describe the whole thing and, you know, whatever. So Gun Channels was designed for people who create gun content. A lot of us came from YouTube, so I guess that's where the channels part comes from. But I guess there are other platforms that consider your project a channel. But anyway, I guess there's been a little confusion with people that are new to the site as to the goal or the purpose of it, and it is just to play. The purpose is to be a community that is for shooters by shooters, so we can talk about gun-related stuff, to keep pipelines, channels, networks open for when we need them. So it was inspired by the getting together of the firearms community to resist the 23 anti-gun things that Obama had pushed after Sandy Hook, and you know, we want to just keep a place where that conversation could keep going. So anyway, it's open to anyone. There's no cost to be a member. You do have to create an account in order to participate on the site. Obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but we leave it open to just anyone. Then any potential scam or spam type of, you know, garbage post would be posted there. So you just have to log in with an email address, no cost or anything. And then once you're a member, you can participate in pretty much every aspect of the website. And that includes the live conversations that go on in the text chat, which are 24/7 all over the website. There's little text chats that you can have discussions in. There's the private messages and instant messages. So very similar to the old AOL buddy list or the Facebook Messenger. You can talk directly with another member over there in a private conversation, send pictures and files and that kind of thing. In fact, we have a live chat room feature of Gun Channels, but because it doesn't broadcast, we don't really use it too much. But if you wanted to have a conference call, so to speak, a way to get a bunch of people together to collaborate on a project or to keep up, you know, in a private conversation amongst up to 12 people, that's just in your buddy list down on Gun Channels. All of those features are available at no cost at this point because there are a few members, relatively few members, who do pay a yearly. It's either $12 a year, or there's some other levels if you want to help keep the site online. And the participation of those members keeps the site there. It's not a money-making situation for sure. If there are any extra money, so there's never been extra money, but if there ever were to be any extra money, it would just go back into the development of the site. It's really kind of like PBS, except that instead of being a money-grabbing federal grant devouring scam, it's just me. So it's us, the people at gun websites, that run it. And since we're behind it, you don't have to worry about your information being sold or stolen. We run it as shooters for shooters. So anything that's legal is good to go over there. And we encourage diversity and people that want to participate in creating content, really. So we foster as much as we can collaboration and encouragement. So if you are interested in what we're doing and you'd like to be part of it, feel free. If you'd like to be part of it as an audience, I should say, feel free, join, and that lets you interact. Or if you'd like to take it to the next level and start to create content at any level, taking pictures and sharing them, or creating videos, or creating a podcast, or doing some other type of project, feel free to bring it to Gun Channels. We'll help you set up a channel over there, a place of your own. You can brand it, put your own advertising on it, use it however you'd like. We're capitalists, so feel free to, again, use the size and scale of Gun Channels to help your brand or your project out. A lot of people you'll see very rarely come over and use Gun Channels, but they'll keep their pages up to date because they understand the influence that a channel this size with this much traffic offers their brand. So if you'd like to learn more about that, we try to have discussions on that, as we call them, Gun Channels Universities. There's quite a few of them over on the various channels. If you do a search on YouTube for Gun Channels University, you'll find people that talk about the behind the scenes and how to create a channel and how to DIY type of videos from the basics all the way up to the more advanced stuff. So anyway, that's what it's all about. And thanks to Ellis, our featured member today, for posting a link to me over on Gun Channels to remind me about this. I think it was in one of his chats that someone had was curious. They thought that Gun Channels was only for creators, and it's definitely not the case. It's for anybody who wants to be part of the conversation as an audience or as a creator. So that's a little plug for Gun Channels and a little information for anybody that might be new to the place. And again, if you're part of Gun Channels, share it. Let people know that we're here. We're not trying to be the biggest or the best. We're just trying to be the coolest, and that doesn't mean the biggest for sure. You know, size comes with costs and burdens that nobody's looking for, and we're not trying to turn it into a profit-making thing, but I do want it to be useful and interesting and fun. So if you know people that are useful, interesting, and fun, share the link. All right, so what does that take us to? We did the gun, we did the movie, we did the quiz. Do we have any other gun history today?
I don't know.
Looks like Bob has some. One of his kings, King Henry the something, was crowned King of England, crowned King of England. 1860, Abraham Lincoln was elected. In 1911, became a dry state. Didn't even know that was a thing. Boy, almost nothing happened today. Very rarely is there like only 12 things in that list, and there's like 10 things in that list. All right, well, nothing happened today.
Well, I mean, that can take us to what's going on Gun Channels tonight.
Monday. So after this show, typically Camp or Connery will run some sort of lobby, an open chat for anybody that wants to jump in, talk about guns. And then I don't know if Moon's doing Gun News Network today. Today, is it 4 p.m. Eastern? There's no way I'm going to remember anything about time here for the next couple of weeks because you people don't care about our feelings and the way we like to do things. So y'all scramble time all around, and all of our clocks and computers and phones and stuff take a little while to figure it all out. So at some point, Moon potentially is going to do CNN or GNN, excuse me, and then
was that a dig?
No, I just said it wrong. And then would HBS be the next show then on the Monday lineup? I think he moved his 3 hours early.
Yeah, 7 or 8 Eastern.
And then after that, Matt will go live. I don't know if he's going to do a stupid nerd show tonight and talk about a stupid nerd show, or if he's going to do something worthwhile and talk about like after action from the rallies.
That would be interesting. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, so we'll see. It's either going to be a stupid nerd show or it'll be awesome Second Amendment advocacy show. Then that's it pretty much on Mondays. So then it'll be Tuesday, and Jimmy James hosts Early Watch starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Brings us right up to the show that starts again at noon tomorrow. Same time, same place. It'll be about Second Amendment issues, gun buybacks. It's our wild card topic from Clay, I think. And our state of the state tomorrow is Indiana. The state that wishes it was Illinois. It even tries to look like it. So I think that's it. Does anybody else have anything else?
I'm good.
I think we've actually done it within an hour.
Yeah, we like to Short and sweet. We always do this. If you never listened to the show before, this is our regular thing. We're about an hour every day.
Yep. Well, we like to do a quote every day to close the show out. So if nobody's going to interrupt me. Oh, that's a first. Anyway.
One more thing.
This one's going to be by Noah Webster, because I'm pretty sure you were joking, Jimmy.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I kind of figured that. Anyway, our quote today is going to be by Noah Webster. But before that, I would like to remind everybody, please like, share, subscribe. Make sure you thumb us up. And, oh, looks like everybody has been. Have they? But anyway, using the wrong mouse again. Yeah, so we'll just hit our quote. Oh, yeah, if you want to support us on Patreon, the link's going to be at the end of the show descriptions in the show notes, or end of the show. Never mind. Anyway, before a standing army can rule, the people must be disarmed, as they are in almost every country in Europe. Now, remember that. If we don't, if we don't fight for our rights, we're going to lose them. And if we lose them, we're going to be hooped. So with that note, and that cheery note, I might add, thanks everybody for watching and listening, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.